The curtains have closed on this year's Cannes Film Festival, and for those of us who weren't in attendance, the wait officially begins to see these films we've been hearing so much about. Yes, I still haven't been able to cross that pilgrimage off my cinephile bucket list. Nevertheless, year in and year out, I still follow the fest like a hawk, specifically for the films and filmmakers themselves. The world's most prestigious and, yes, pretentious film festival is almost always a good indicator for some of the must-see films each year. Films that premiered there often wind up on my personal best of the year list when they debut stateside later in the year, or the year after. Look no further than You Were Never Really Here, one of 2018's very best films, which premiered at Cannes the year prior. This is my list of the 5 most anticipated films from the 2019 Cannes Film Festival, with an asterisk. I haven't exactly been shy about my excitement for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This looks so freaking good, which would have easily topped this list, and so I'm setting it aside to shine the spotlight on other films and filmmakers.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
Don't sweat it, QT. Here's a 5-minute standing ovation just to keep you going. The same goes for Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse, which also cracked my list of the most anticipated films of the year, as well as one of my honorable mentions, Jim Jarmusch's The Dead Don't Die, which will be arriving in theaters in just a couple of weeks. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's begin the countdown. Number 5, The Wild Goose Lake. While the film's vague plot synopsis might garner some interest, a gangster on the run sacrifices everything for his family and a woman he meets while on the lam. It's the perpetual promise of Chinese writer-director Diao Yinan that ensures this a spot on my list. Part of the Middle Kingdom's rising art house scene, Diao continues to dabble in the palette of neo-noir. This marks his follow-up to Black Coal Thin Ice, a film that brought home the top prize at the Berlin Film Festival. No word yet on a US release. Number 4, Pain and Glory. Not to be confused with Michael Bay's Pain and Gain.
I watched a lot of movies, Paul. I know what I'm doing.
This is the story of Salvador Myuu, a middle-aged Spanish filmmaker who has tasted success yet finds himself reflecting on the past, something writer-director Pedro Almodovar clearly knows nothing about.
This baby is off the charts.
For this pseudo-autobiographical project, Almodovar reteams with Antonio Banderas, who won the Best Actor award at this year's festival, and Penelope Cruz, who plays his mother in childhood flashbacks. It's both the personal exploration on display and the wrestling with one's own creative pursuits that makes Pain and Glory so alluring. Prior to the festival, Sony released the film in Spain and will be bringing it stateside this October, just in time for awards season. Number 3, Portrait of a Lady on Fire. Set on an isolated island in the late 1700s, this story follows Mary Ann, who is commissioned to paint a portrait of Heloise, the young lady of the house, for the purposes of eliciting marriage proposals. The only problem? Heloise doesn't wish to be married. Mary Ann poses as the new maid in order to get close to her subject and ends up falling for her.
Vous allez devoir la peindre sans qu'elle le sache. Elle pense que vous êtes une compagne de promenade pour quelques jours.
Portrait of a Lady on Fire is the latest work of art from French writer-director Céline Sciamma, whose previous films include Tomboy and Girlhood. Few films at this year's festival received more acclaim, where it also won Best Screenplay, and Sciamma became the first female director to win the Queer Palm. Neon and Hulu picked up distribution rights after the film's premiere. Look for it later this year. Number 2, A Hidden Life. This is the 9th film from writer-director Terrence Malick and tells the story of Franz Jägerstätter, an Austrian conscientious objector who refused to fight for the Nazis during World War II. The film stars August Diehl, Valerie Pachner, one of my faves, Matthias Schoenaerts, and sadly marks the final film of 2 late greats, Bruno Ganz and Michael Nyqvist. Some are heralding this as Malick's best work since The Tree of Life, a film that debuted at Cannes in 2011 and went home with the top prize, the Palme d'Or. Now, that might not be saying a whole lot, especially if you agree that his filmography has been a series of diminishing returns ever since. But then again, it's not easy to follow up what many consider, myself included, one of the best films ever made. Nevertheless, conversation swirling around A Hidden Life bodes well for longtime fans of this unmatched auteur. Fox Searchlight nabbed distribution rights at the festival, and an awards season push seems like a safe bet. Number 1. Parasite. This is the latest film from writer-director Bong Joon-ho, who just made history when he became the first Korean director to ever win the Palme d'Or. Bong's frequent muse Song Kang-ho stars as the patriarch of an unemployed family in Seoul who become increasingly obsessed with a wealthy family who resides in a mansion. This subject matter seems ripe for an inventive storyteller who never fails to serve up some socio-political commentary. Some are calling it Bong's best film, which is really saying something from the director of Snowpiercer, Mother, no, not that one. That one. The Host, and what I personally consider to be his masterpiece, Memories of Murder. Bong Joon-ho is a vital piece of the Korean New Wave and one of my favorite filmmakers working today. That's why Parasite is the film I'm most excited to see from this year's Cannes.
Well, I just reject your hypotheses.
Besides Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Don't worry, QT, they're still clapping. Neon had already picked up US distribution rights for Parasite last year and will most likely be releasing it this fall.
기생충.
Those are my 5 most anticipated films from this year's Cannes Film Festival. What films are you most excited for? Or, if you were fortunate enough to attend the festival, what were your favorite films? I'd love to hear all about it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to Cineflect for more film lists, reviews, video essays, trailer reactions, breakdowns, and other cinematic experiments. And click that bell if you want to be notified anytime I upload a new video. For Cineflect, I'm JS Lewis. Until next time, watch something good. Yup, they're still clapping.